How can you enjoy more treats as a high performing professional and still have it accelerate your fat loss and improve your muscle growth? I know that might seem like an oxymoron, but I wanted to put together this simple training. In case you don't know who I am, my name's Tyson Johnson, founder and owner of the Six Pack Dad Tribe. I'm a high performing entrepreneur and corporate professional, happily married for 20 years. And for the last 20 years, I went from 20% body fat down to 10% and have then since put on 20 pounds of muscle as a sustainable lifestyle. So I'm putting this training together because recently this morning I finished an upper body weight training workout, and then afterwards was able to enjoy some of my wife. She made these amazing scones. And so why would you do that after a workout? And the other reason I'm sharing this is we did a survey for a lot of you busy professionals, and you've shared that you know that nutrition is your Achilles heel, and that is what stands in your way to being a better steward of your body and your health. And specifically, it's unhealthy snacking that you say is the biggest problem for you. So today I'm going to throw this totally on its head. We're talking about treats, okay? So here's just a little bit of science on this. It's an important concept called insulin sensitivity. I'll just write down the word insulin. What this basically means in layman's terms is your body, when you have sugar in your bloodstream, it releases insulin to get that sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells. That helps protect your body from just the harmful consequences of this. And typically when we're having sugar, junk food, pizza, donuts, things like that, it has an insulin response, which is generally what we do not want. We want to keep blood sugar stable, which helps us get the fat off and have a better body, have better health. But there's one exception to this, and that is after a resistance training workout. This is a bit more of an advanced concept, but it's still worth teaching now. So after we have done resistance training, like for me today, I did about a 25-minute basic back and biceps workout this morning. And after we have been doing weight training, what happens is we have sugar, we have carbohydrates in our muscles. It's called muscle glycogen. Again, I'm just keeping this really simple. As we're contracting the muscles and lifting weights, our body is basically tapping into that sugar and that glycogen for energy so that the muscles can contract. And so what the science has said is the two times when our body is most insulin sensitive or most ready to process food and use it for fat loss and muscle growth, there's two windows. Number one, typically first thing in the morning after we've been sleeping and been fasting. And then the other time is after a resistance training workout, which is what I'm focusing on today. Okay, so after you've done a brief, efficient workout, especially weight training, your body is ready to receive fuel. And it's very unlikely to convert those calories to fat. It's highly likely it's going to use the majority of those calories to fuel muscle growth. And that's what we're talking about today. So you have this window of time. I've read studies anywhere from immediately after resistance training to even up to 2 hours when your body's like, give me fuel, I'm ready. And so what I did today was I had a protein shake, and it can look like anything. Typically the fastest digesting is just simple whey protein. And then is your excuse to have some simple sugars. Now, it could be almost anything. It could be pizza, it could be donuts, it could be ice cream. If you want to go pretty advanced, technically, if the product has dextrose or glucose, such as like Willy Wonka candy or Haribo gummy bears, those two things have a glycemic index or a measure of how much it spikes blood sugar of almost 100. And that's what we want, is we want to get some fast digesting sugars with some protein. And what it's going to happen is that's going to cause an insulin response. It's going to spike blood sugar, and it's going to shuttle those carbs and that protein into the muscles. And that's exactly what we want to fuel muscle growth and recovery. if we want muscle growth, we also need to be in a calorie surplus. And so giving that aids in that process. So insulin, and I'm going to say muscle growth. And what we want, to summarize, is protein plus sugar. Okay, so I would probably start pretty basic. If you're not, this isn't for professional bodybuilders, this is just for high-performing professionals who want to keep this simple and basic. But go for, say, 30 grams of protein minimum, and go for, say, 30 grams roughly, or like a small handful of whatever you're craving. And what's cool about this is, if you think about this, now all of a sudden, if you're training with weights, say 3 times a week, like what we recommend, and maybe 20 to 30 minutes, that's only an hour a week of weight training, okay? Because time is probably your scarcest resource. But this now gives you an excuse 3 times a week following weight training to eat stuff that you love and have been craving, so you don't feel like you're on a diet. Okay, and so this hits on one other component, which is psychologically, it's an emotional reward. This is called habit stacking by James Clear. What it says is, if we pair something that we love doing, like having treats, which you guys feel guilty about, you feel like it's an Achilles heel, all of a sudden you're going to pair something you enjoy doing with something that you might not like doing as much, like resistance training. So it pairs 2 things together, and it can become an emotional reward so that this becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of your identity. I'm someone who lifts weights 3 times a week, and I still get to have junk food in moderation in an intentional, efficient way. Oh, and by the way, that fuels muscle growth because those calories are not likely to be converted to fat. Now, if we worked out in the morning and it's evening time and we're having a bowl of ice cream, that's kind of a different story, right? Our body is not very insulin sensitive at this point. It's more likely to convert those calories to fat, okay? On your cardio days, on your off days, say you take like some day off, that would be a day not to apply this principle because you're not weight training, you're not as insulin sensitive. So to summarize, there is a way to still have junk food in moderation, to have treats, and we are scientifically spiking insulin on purpose right after weight training to fuel muscle growth. And what you do is you blend some protein with some sugar. It doesn't keep it really simple, and it can become an emotional reward that can literally reshape your identity, and you can enjoy this journey much, much more. By the way, notice this takes no extra time, right? We're already spending time eating. Most of us are already spending time exercising. This is a way to get a bigger bang for your buck. And in simple terms, this has helped me put on 20 pounds of muscle over the last 20 years. It does happen slowly. You do have to have a firm foundation of nutrition the rest of the time. But I hope this principle helps you. As a gift to you for being a listener, I have put together like my entire life's work, how I went from 20% body fat down to 10%, and then after that maintained it, and then went on to putting muscle as a sustainable lifestyle. I've called it the 10% body fat blueprint, and it's all on one page. The meal plan, the science, the workout plan, and if you reply to this video, I'll give it to you for free, no strings attached. Hope this helps someone out there.